About 2% of the budget goes to rehabilitation. 70-something% goes to salaries, which is absolutely ridiculous. And the statistics are in the book. In fact, I can get them more accurate here without guessing them.
And we do know, I mean, we've known that the programs that we actually instituted, that prisoners, ex-convicts developed, did a fabulous job, just like the EASE program and stuff that when I was, well, you were in there, we were running a program, and our return rate was, as you said, was only 18% of all the individuals that we had coming out and re-entering, finding jobs, and nobody's doing it anymore. We had the Polaroid program where people went to work and come out and went to work for Dr. Land at Polaroid, who was really involved in that, and nobody went back. Both of us are products of the educational system that we were able to take advantage, mine being the STEP program. Both ended up at BU and with the colleges. So we're not, you and I are not hubcap thieves. We're not talking about, you and I would be determined as hardcore, okay, that lives effectively get changed because of education. So we do know that what will work if you gave people an opportunity.
Well, let me give you these figures here. Now, this is interesting. Look at this. The increase in correctional officers' salary since 1992, 70 to 77%. The average percentage increase in all Massachusetts wage earners' salaries since 1992 was 42.3%. The salaries of the Mass correctional officers in 1992, excluding benefits and overtime, $35,386 to $40,531. Correctional officers' salaries in 2003, excluding benefits and overtime. You're talking big money there. $59,919 to $71,946. I mean, that's just outrageous. And you're not getting the bang for the buck. What's happening is we're taking a situation, and the DOC is saying that there's a 40% recidivism rate in Massachusetts prisons. And that's very deceptive and dishonest. That's an average. The minimum institutions have a 17% recidivism rate. The maximum security institutions have a 68% and higher, rate. So when guards in the maximum security prisons talk about being professionals, with a 68% recidivism rate, you are a professional. You're a professional failure. And the money is put into the lower level institutions. You're rehabilitating people who, if you didn't even put them in jail, they wouldn't even be coming back to prison.
They wouldn't come back, that's right.
And the people in the maximum security prisons, these are the individuals coming, these are the people you have to focus and put the funds on. These are the people that are going to go back into the community, rape, rob, and plunder if you don't rehabilitate them.
So what they're doing is creaming the selection by selecting people they know are less likely to recommit an offense and end up back there in the first place.
And they're taking the kudos for doing it.
And putting the money on them and showing what great job they're doing.
Absolutely.
And most likely people that didn't belong in there in the first place, that could have been on probation or some alternative that they know worked. Instead, they're putting them in the joint.
Well, in our situation, we know, I mean, with the homeless and the marginalized, a lot of our people, especially with the closing of the mental health hospitals, end up in the prison.
Oh, yeah, Walpole is full of mentally ill individuals.
Yeah, that shouldn't
don't
be
belong
there.
there.
Don't belong there.
Belong there.
You know.
And what happens, right, is like in Massachusetts, we had a famous case where an individual named Salvi shot up an abortion clinic, killed a bunch of people. Salvi was insane. I mean, you talk to him in the prison, there's no ifs, ands, and buts. This man is nuts and belonged in a mental institution.
He's not going to rehabilitate.
He's impossible. He's nuts. I mean, this guy is in another world. But they wouldn't put him in the mental institution. They put him in a state prison with a life sentence. Salvi kills himself, commits suicide. Now the Department of Correction is embarrassed. they have a big review to study, you know, what happened and blah, 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 blah. And what they end up doing to clean up DOC's blunder, right, because they can't say, DOC can't say Salvi is insane. Because if to say he's insane, then how did you find him guilty of murder? He couldn't be found guilty because he was insane.
Right.
So what they ended up doing is they they raise the banner on what qualifies as mentally ill. So now we have individuals in the prison that are babbling to themselves that there's no ifs, ands, and buts that this man is in a psychotic episode, but he can't go to the nut house. He's not crazy enough because you raise the bar so high that this guy is stuck in an institution. Now, if he's like, I had a guy on a chair with me, and he's like 3 cells down, say about 6 in the morning to 11 at night. This guy is ranting and raving in his cell, talking to somebody on the bed, screaming and swearing and having this unbelievable conversation. As long as he stays up there, they leave him alone. If he comes downstairs and gets near the guard with that insanity, they will jump this individual, they will beat the hell out of him, then they'll put him in the segregation unit for assaulting the guards. The DDU, Departmental Segregation Unit, the disciplinary unit, is a 124-man unit. Minimum 24 of the people that are in there are mentally ill. They can't send them to the nut house, they can't control them in the prison population, so they stash them in there. These are individuals who are having their mental illness exacerbated by sensory deprivation. And then they're just being dropped into the community when they wrap their sentences up because the parole board won't parole them. There's no, you know, this guy's insane.
Right.
They're not going to take
So
the
he's gotta do his full
responsibility
time.
of putting him on parole because as soon as he steps out the door, he's violating
You're
it.
going to hurt somebody.
Right? So to cover their ass, they make this guy wrap up. So there's nothing there to catch him on the street. There's no reentry program for this individual. They close the mental institutions. There's no place for this guy to go but live in the street.
Right.
And they just take this individual, and that's criminal.
Right.
And basically what we're talking here is public safety. And one of the things that we propose, or one of the things I propose, is that in Massachusetts, we've got about 1,800 first-degree lifers, second-degree lifers, and long-termers that are being totally ignored. These individuals are resources that we should take advantage of. Now, granted, all 1,800 of them aren't going to be eligible to do this, but you find out who's capable of doing it, and you give them education, train them, get them master's degrees in education, get them certified as plumbers, masonry, carpentry, and then have these individuals teaching and training the other prisoners. This will give meaning and purpose to these guys' lives, plus you'll be saving the state millions of dollars. It's a workable concept, but they won't do it.
Overseen by the Department of Education and Education places like...
Well, here's the law, but see, here's the thing that keep on. We know,
Right.
as you know, like in Norfolk Prison, Boston University had a master's degree program.
Right.
For 3 years, the individuals that participated in that program, 0 recidivism rate. Education works in rehabilitation. Rehabilitation, we know, works. In spite of years ago when it said rehabilitation doesn't work, all you can do is incapacitate. Now they found out that's not true. The crime rate went up, not down, when you got hard on crime. We know when we did the education in Massachusetts, the recidivism rate dropped by 25%. Education works, vocational training works, all right? We have to rehabilitate people. Now, you can't force somebody to rehabilitate. The individual has to make the determination to rehabilitate himself, but you're required to provide the tools to help this individual to rehabilitate himself. Who is the best person to talk to this guy? Somebody from suburbia who doesn't know his ass from his elbow about what's going on in the prison environment, or a lifer who's been in there for many, many, many years? Who are you going to listen to? This guy understands your pain and suffering. Who's the best drug training? It's an ex-drug addict.
Sure.
He knows and he understands.
We know that. We fight with that all the time, don't we? All the time is